Okay, Aspen Ladd. She is recanting, or not recanting, she is repenting for the sins that she has caused right here, missing the bantamweight limit against Macy Chiasson, a rivalry that I don't think we will ever see at this point, AJ, but I would still love to see that fight take place. Aspen Ladd, man, she's a minus 150 favorite against the plus 125 comeback and Norma Dumont. And I have a couple questions off the bat because I don't know if I agree with the odds here, AJ. I think Norma Dumont, right, she is clearly a featherweight. Like, clearly, she has the frame for the featherweight division sometimes. I think she's had trouble making weight at 135, but I think she's also had trouble making weight at 145. I'm not sure. The question here, AJ, is Aspen Ladd, has 2 weeks given her enough time to build the true frame of a 145er? You know, yeah, she was having trouble missing weight at 135 or trouble making weight at 135. But, like, come on, man. Making weight, being like, oh, yeah, I'm 145 in the cage is not what Norma Dumont is going to be. You know, she's going to be bigger. So that's the first question. The second question to you, AJ, here is that why is Aspen Ladd being rewarded in the eyes of the odds makers in a division she's never fought in the UFC, being that she's had a little bit of a layoff since her last fight and, you know, with the weight issues, man. So why are the odds makers favoring her, and has she had enough time to build herself up as a true 145er?
Yeah, to answer the second question first, I don't know if you caught the look that I gave right off the jump, because I don't look at the odds before the show starts. I like to see them now to kind of just know what I'm getting into. Minus favorite for 150 on Aspen Ladd. I'm not sure why they're rewarding her with that. I don't see it, man. It's just, especially with all the weight issues and even her style of fight, it's going to be a very hard fought against Norma Dumont going forward. I'm not really sure what's going on in that one. Again, it might be one of those things that they know that we don't, that they're able to see in Vegas that we're not necessarily seeing out there in the tape. Yeah. But to answer the first question, I think it's the better of the shot that Aspen Ladd has right now to be able to build up, because Norma Dumont was, she was having the weight issues at 135. She's another fighter who went from 135 up to 145 because she's missing weight, exactly how Aspen Ladd is going. But they've been working on her at the PI to kind of build her a little bit back down to get Norma Dumont back to 135, nice, slowly, healthy, like you're supposed to do it. But that means that the stature is going to be nice. It's going to be pretty relevant, both around the same size. Okay. I think they're both about 5'6", 5'7". Norma Dumont has a little bit of the reach advantage. Has Aspen Ladd had enough time to put like the significant weight on, though? I don't know. It's going to be hard to say, because 2 weeks, like, how much weight can you actually do? We haven't even seen John Jones, him saying, I'm going to put on a little bit of extra weight, 20, 40 pounds, whatever it is. And he's been out for over a year. I forget exactly how long it is, but 2 weeks is a tall task to get a significant amount of good weight on. Yeah. Sure, you could put, calories in, start bulking up, and you might get 5-10 pounds, which will make her at about the limit, or about the same, significant weight, but it's just not the good muscle weight, not the good contractile tissue that you actually need to make a difference in the octagon. So it's going to be interesting, but I think the stature, as far as both of them missing 135 and jumping up, makes it a little bit easier for Aspen Ladd going forward.
That is interesting, because it makes me kind of look at it as maybe this is like a bantamweight matchup taking place at featherweight. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we get those. I think we got a lot of those in the men's bantamweight division, where they just jumped up a division, said, fuck it, I guess we'll have to fight at 145. That's fine. We're both 135ers, but whatever. Listen, man, Norma Dumont, 31 years old, right? So she also has a little more of that. She's grown into her body more than Aspen Ladd has currently at a prime age of 26 years old. However, when we're talking about methods of victory, AJ, a little different here. Aspen Ladd, 6 of her 9 wins are via knockout. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. 7 of those wins are via stoppage. When we're talking about Norma Dumont, 4 decisions, 2 submissions. I mean, it's just different, right? Norma Dumont isn't that same finisher that Aspen Ladd is, and that's why I think the odds makers might view it as Aspen Ladd being the favorite in here. However, Norma Dumont is mean, dude. If you look at who she has fought, man, since entering the UFC, she got knocked senseless against Megan Anderson, right? But Megan Anderson is such a frame mismatch for anybody in that division. She got a big win over Ashley Evans-Smith, who is no longer with the promotion, but Ashley Evans-Smith is a tough fighter. And then she won a very close split decision against Felicia Spencer, and that's what I wanted to talk about here, AJ. The path to victory for Aspen Ladd is probably what Felicia Spencer wanted to do against Norma Dumont, which is what she succeeded in the third round. She couldn't do it in rounds 1 and 2, which is what lost her the fight. But in the third round, Felicia Spencer, she laid on Norma Dumont, ground and pound, top control. That's Aspen Ladd's game through and through. So I wanted to ask you that question. Seeing that Felicia Spencer, even though she's a big 145er, man, I mean, come on, Felicia Spencer fought Amanda Nunes and Cyborg and didn't get knocked out by either of them, hung in there tough. So, I mean, she's a very tough fighter, don't get me wrong. But do you think that that's the blueprint right there? I mean, if Felicia Spencer could do it for a round and really put it on her, do you think Aspen Ladd can do the same thing?
I do think that's the blueprint, 100%. Yeah. That's the blueprint, especially that's what Aspen Ladd likes doing, pressuring you up against the cage and then getting the the takedown however it comes. We really saw it against Yana Kunitskaya that she was able to, that was her game plan, but Yana was just a little bit too big, so she started reversing the plan until Aspen Ladd shot that power double and was able to get it down. I don't remember if it was a power double or a single leg, but either way, she went back to her technical ground game and was able to get the finish on that one. But the hard part about Norma Dumont, she circles out so nicely, man. Literally, the second she crosses that black line that lets her know she's got like a foot or two to the cage, just circles, just stays on her bike, circles out, gets back to the center of the cage, and she'll start piecing you up. I really like Norma Dumont for the fact that she has very fast hands, great head, great footwork, great head movement, and then she'll talk shit. She'll literally say like, no, she even at in her last fight against Felicia Spencer, she got back against cage, circled out and goes, no. We're fighting right here. Like we're swinging hands. I love that about Norma Dumont, man. It's going to be interesting. And I don't know if Aspen Ladd is going to have the size to be able to hold Felicia Spencer down, or at least get her against pressure up against cage and then hold her there. Because we saw Yana Kunitskaya just be able to literally get the underhooks, turn Aspen Ladd, and she had her back against cage then now. What do you think?
Well, that's one of the interesting things there, man, because for Yana Kunitskaya, she's originally a 145er who moved down to 135, right? But being that Aspen Ladd was able to figure out a way to get victory there, it does give me good signs that it's possible here. I mean, she knows what she's getting into. It's not like she's like, oh, shoot, I guess I'm going to have to fight this big person. I never saw it coming. Like, she probably knew that a move to 145 was in her inevitable future. But let's talk about Norma Dumont just a little bit more, man. I think I wrote it down like this. She's a patiently aggressive counter striker. So she'll be patient, but the moment that, like, Felicia Spencer was doing those crazy, like, kind of taekwondo karate style side kicks, right? And the moment that she would lift that leg up like that and leave herself out of position, then Norma Dumont would storm on her. However, the one thing with Norma Dumont that I see far too often is when she opens up for the counters and she goes big combos, right? Hands drop. It's not like she's throwing from here. Hands drop down here and then big hooks. And she got caught, man, a couple times, flush on the chin, right? Aspen Ladd, I'm not saying that her stand-up is incredible, because I honestly think that her stand-up is still a little sloppy. You know what I mean? But she has power. Both of these fighters have power. So it's going to be interesting to see how the power translates. Aspen Ladd, she lands 55% of her significant strikes, about 5 significant strikes landed per minute. And takedown average, that's what's important here. Takedown average for both of them is about the same. 2, almost 3. 67% for Dumont, 75% for Aspen Ladd, 66% takedown defense for Ladd, 100% takedown defense for Norma Dumont, which is, like I said, man, it'll be interesting to see. Even though it's like, Felicia Spencer got her on the ground and she controlled her, but then again, her takedown defense is 100%. So it's interesting how it works. Sometimes it's these weird scrambles, you get reversed, whatever, doesn't count as a takedown. Either way, when Aspen Ladd, let's just ask this ultimate big picture question. When Aspen Ladd gets on top of Norma Dumont, do you think Norma Dumont is able to withstand the storm?
It's hard because, man, Aspen Ladd's a little Tasmanian devil down there. She'll literally just start flirting on you and just throwing, just like a mad woman. I do think so, though. I think Norma Dumont has a little bit more of that size, and she's been a little bit more able to get used to that size, whereas Aspen Ladd's kind of going to be out of her element a little bit right there. So I do think that Norma Dumont has the power to get it done. What do you think?
I don't know. That's what we're going to find out. Time will only tell on that one. I think Aspen Ladd is going to have the tenacity to be able to get it done, because once she starts going, she doesn't stop. She's interesting with the ground and pound, where it's not like it's just a composed, I'm going to pick my shot. She's like, no, I'm just spazzing on you. I'm smashing you. And that's a good thing, because sometimes that's what you need to do for the referee to be like, oh shit, work. You got to do something. Oh, all right, I'm going to call it. You know what I mean? So if Aspen Ladd can keep Norma Dumont on her back, I think that's her best path to victory, because Norma Dumont is pretty good on the feet. Like I said, her counter striking is very legit. legitimate. But she's not great in the clinch, which is going to be interesting because Aspen Ladd isn't very great in the clinch either. So it's like, who's going to win that battle right there? And the big thing, Norma Dumont is just a mean fighter, man. Just like Mayra Bueno Silva, she's a mean fighter who is looking for violence, right? And she has nice, like her legs are huge, you know what I'm saying? She has tree trunk legs, right? So she's going to have that power. Maybe it's going to make it a little harder for Aspen Ladd to get that blast double or even a single leg on her. Ultimately, AJ, do you see true value in that plus 125 line for Norma Dumont?
I do, Derek. I do. I see a lot of value, man. And I'll give you my pick now. I'm going Dumont by decision. I just don't think Ladd's going to be big enough to get it done. And we're going to be able to see if this is Aspen Ladd's new weight class. She's been having the weight issues. I think Norma Dumont's going to get it done in this one by decision, man. I'm glad you noted the thing about her hands starting low because she starts off very technically sound. Her combos are crisp and then they start dropping and she'll see punches coming in and she'll start reaching for punches, reaching to block stuff out. And like we were saying before, man, you can get caught once you take those hands away from that chin. Yep. You start getting caught with the hooks coming around them. And I think that's where Aspen Ladd might find the best success going forward. But me personally, I see a lot of value in that 125 underdog. I'm going Dumont by decision. What about you? Who you got? Why?
Well, AJ, I just want to remind you about what you had said just a few minutes ago about the Yana Kunitskaya when she got down on the ground, right? That didn't come from a single leg or a blast double. You want to know what it came from? Sometimes they say, AJ, the best takedown in the game is a nice left hook, and that's what it came from. Aspen Ladd's left hook is something to watch out for, man, and I think that Dumont's hands keep dropping and she's able to land the big left hook. That's the only takedown you need right there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with Aspen Ladd here, not only because I believe in the prospect of Aspen Ladd. She is an absolute killer, but also she has so much pressure on her, man. This is the time to shine. If you lose your featherweight debut, you came in, you're supposed to be, she was number 3 in the women's bantamweight division, arguably on the cusp of a title shot. If you come in and lose to Norma Dumont, I mean, what are we talking about here? That's just going to be a not a good look. The eyes say it all, right? The eyes never lie, Chico. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be a good look. So Aspen Ladd, I'm counting on her because similar to Ludovic Klein, her resume speaks for itself, man. We cannot look at one loss or one bad weight miss and say, oh, we got to throw out the whole entire product, right? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm rocking with Aspen Ladd here. 9-1 in MMA. She is a storm to be reckoned with, and she has notable wins over Yana Kunitskaya, 2 wins over Sijara Eubanks, and a win over Lena Landsberg. The Sijara Eubanks and the Yana Kunitskaya wins are what make me think that Aspen Ladd gets this victory via decision right here or a TKO. We'll see. But I'm going decision for Aspen Ladd, 5-round war. We're going to go back-to-back women main events that are going to go to a decision because, face it, that is generally speaking how the women contests end up going, man. It's not like you're seeing 2 heavyweights in there smashing each other in the face. But that's the pick, man.